Well, can't very well do a review without washing the car. And it doesn't look dirty, but the closer you get, all that dirt's there. Did a bit of a kind of touch up on some of the parts of the window so you can see some of the water streaks there past my phone. And yeah, there's another good look at just how dirty the car is. Let me get out of the light. There you go. So yeah, time to wash the 2020 Mazda 6. Well, that looks a whole lot better. Good job, Petro Canada. No, I'm not at Taco Bell for breakfast. It just happens to be right beside the car wash. This is the 2020 Mazda 6. It's a top trim signature, and this is my long-term tester I've had since the end of March due to what's happening in the world. So first off, a huge thank you to Mazda Canada for having me set up with this nice long-term loan. And I'll kind of go through a few things, not everything because it's an ongoing series. First thing that I really like is that there's no fog lights on this at all. I'm not really a big fan of the fog lights. I think they're a bit of a marketing gimmick, but I'm happy that this Mazda 6 does not have it. What I really like is the orange turn signals all around. I know they have to be orange up front, but it's a thin bar. Oops, there it is. There's a thin bar there. There's a thin bar there, and I'm gonna quickly duck around to the rear of the vehicle and show you the thin bar there. So instead of it being a circle or something smaller somewhere else, I like how Mazda has done a continuum for all of the turn signals on the vehicle. And there's LED lights all around, and I'll just quickly show you that right now. So your day runners and your headlights are all LED. I think it's a nice frame for the front end. Not a big fan of that chrome at the bottom. Some may like it, I'm not really a big fan. I like the small subtle designs here. So that nice kind of wheel arch just above the wheel arch. There's that nice swooping line. You can see it really nicely there. And my reflection as it kind of just arches over. So I think that's a really nice strong look. Not really a big fan usually of multi-spoke wheels as opposed to, sorry, I should rephrase that. I'm not a big fan of anything of more than 5 spokes, but Mazda's done a nice job on the 10-spoke wheel here. And it looks really, really sharp. It looks really, it's a nice clean look. So I like it there. And I'll give you a good side profile of the vehicle. It's conservative, but it's kind of got that upscale look to it. And I like how the current generation of Mazdas look really, really nice there. I'll give you a rear quarter look and the chrome trim all around the windows. I like it. I don't love it. I'll just end with it there. Going around the rear, because I see this vehicle every day and I have since, well, the end of March, I guess March 23rd to be specific. It's just a nice clean look and I love the color. Mazda's red is just beautiful. And you got the twin tailpipes, so my need for symmetry is absolutely satisfied. Actually, I'm not gonna go to the side yet. I'm gonna show you the trunk. And it's pretty big, and yes, there's a snow brush because I got this vehicle in the end of March and you know, they still were putting snow brushes in, but it's a fairly large space and you got a little bit of extra storage there for things that shouldn't move around and a bit of a shallower tray right there. One thing I don't like is the handle to close it is on the passenger side and there's nothing on the driver's side. And it's what, like a foot of difference? But if you're kind of going in and out of the car and you're driving around, walking, or putting stuff in and you want to get out and walk to that side, you got to just really stretch over. Yes, I know it's a first world problem, but that's what that's what they're paying me for, and that was a very poor attempt at a joke. Anyways, another thing I really like, not that I've had to move the seats a lot, but when I have, it's a really, really nice, it's a good look and it feels nice. They could have gone with something black or maybe even white, but I like that it's a chrome trim here for these. Because you know, when you get into the car, it kind of catches your eye. So I'll show you what I see. So I get in, or I get out of the car, hand on the handle, and it just kind of catches my eye. And it's a really nice attention to detail there for me anyway. The seats, so these little marks and scuffy things, follow me here. It's April 25th when I'm recording this, and they're gnats. And they've been all over the place and I've had to sit in them, and you can see like there's little streaks of gnat guts and grossness, so I gotta take a cloth and clean that up. But I just wanted to show you, because the point I wanted to make is I would not get this in white. Just white shows all sorts of stains, so I'm not a big fan of the white, but I am a fan of the Napa leather. It's just the thigh bolsters are great, side bolsters really nice, and there's a nice little classy touch there. I don't really see it as much and notice it, but it's there. So the seats are great. Again, not a big fan of them being specifically in white because, well, like I said, like I just showed you, there is all sorts of, there are lots of markings that show up. So I've done 2,332.7 kilometers. My fuel economy is a little higher than the 8.5 rating, but you know, it's these are not ideal conditions, and sometimes it's a lot of city driving, sometimes it's a lot of highway driving, but overall, not too bad. And I think, you know, once I kind of get into more, I guess once the world gets into a little more of a stable place, and I would do a bunch of driving, I think it would go down to the low 9s or even high 8s. So there's that. Anyways, I'm used to this now, but I don't like how the zero doesn't fall flat down at 180 degrees. And the same thing for the fuel empties, not at a straight down 180 degrees. But I do like the digital dash. Very nice, very minimalistic, and a couple of different options as far as getting different pieces of information out through it go. I've kept the heads-up display on, and let me zoom in a touch so you can see that. There it is. Come on, zoom in. There you go. So it's white font, and there's the bay for it right there. Again, not really a big fan of it overall, but I'm used to it now because I've been in the car for about a month, and I find myself actually using it quite often. Steering wheel, the heated wheel starts there, ends there, starts there, ends there. So it's not the full wheel. Not really a big fan of that. It's taken me a while to get used to the start-stop button here, but I like how it clears up all sorts of, not clears up, but there's nothing in the space here. It's just a nice clean look all the way across. I'll show you that side as we sweep over to this side. So a bit of getting used to, but not too bad. Yes, it's a touch screen. So for example, we'll go home and we'll go to entertainment. We'll go back home. We'll go to the settings. So you can use that, but I find using this is much easier. It's very, very intuitive. Let me straighten that camera look out for you. And the sound system is great. I'm a big audio snob, and the premium Bose system sounds remarkable through here. The weird thing for me is to really get it going and sounding really good and loud. You have to have the volume up in the 30s. So that's I don't want to put any music on because YouTube's going to ding me for copyright. So just know that after a month of driving, it's got to be in the, let's mute that. I can't really notice. Anyway, it's got to be up in the 30s. So just letting you know that. We'll get into the driving dynamics in the driving portion. What I do like, a little nice, cool, classy look move here. There's a full cover, and it's kind of got that cool look to it as well, as opposed to just being like a straight non-pattern thing. And I know kind of why they have to do that, because you can see it bends, right? So in order for this to collapse into itself, it has to be pliable, and they could have done that maybe with much less bends in it, or actually physical lines. But I think it looks cool, very functional, very fashionable for my 2 cents. HVAC, let's quickly jump on that. Heated seats, cooled seats, get cold real fast, get hot real fast, and the heated steering wheel is just tucked off in the corner there. There's a blank there, not really a big fan. But what I do like is minimal amount of buttons, really nice there, not overly complicated. So that's definitely the way Mazda is going as far as the new CX-3 and CX-30 and feature vehicles go. Let's do the drive. 2020 Mazda 6. So it's Mazda's 2.5 turbo 4 engine, and putting in regular gas gets you 227 horsepower, and putting in premium gas gets you up to 250 horsepower. And those figures are good and great, but what really stands out for me is the 310 pound-feet of torque. And that just, to me, that makes the car. And as far as the driving side of it goes, because it's so powerful and strong and responsive, and it really puts the fun back into driving a sedan. And sedans are not really what they used to be as far as popularity goes, and everybody wants a crossover, a CUV, an SUV, that higher seating stance. But I think that for the sedans, the Mazda 6, to me, of all the sedans I've tested, has the best driving dynamics. And years and years ago actually, Mazda had that zoom tagline. And it was a nice aerial shot of this winding road, and I think it was the Miata at the time. But I think that was their big push to remind the public that, hey, we are capable of making great cars that are really fun to drive with a lot of cool driving dynamics. And the 6 has done that for me. It's great every time I get in. There's no bad drive experience for me. And again, I've put over 2,300 kilometers on the vehicle, and every single time I've gotten in, it's been great, whether I've been doing a 10-kilometer drive or a 100-kilometer drive. It's just so responsive for me, and minimal understeer, minimal oversteer, and it goes very well, and it's very planted, and going around turns and corners, you never feel like you're slipping with the 6. And I gotta say, I don't want to say unpopular, for the declining popularity for sedans, the 6 to me is one of the top choices as an overall package. Yes, it's been around since 2014 as far as the current third generation goes. Mazda did a very hefty facelift to it in 2018. And there are some new articles that have come out a couple of days ago about the fourth generation Mazda 6. And there's talk of a rear-wheel drive straight 6 engine. And I think that's going to take it from what's already a fantastic offering to something that's going to really just be absolutely wonderful. So as far as just day-to-day living with the 6, the infotainment system it's really good. At times, it can be a little on the slower side just to have the initial startup. I would say it's 1 out of every 20 times I get into the car, maybe 25. It takes maybe an extra 5 to 7 seconds before the GPS shows up and the satellite radio shows up and everything else shows up. But that can be the case with anything, right? Like I've heard some stories where the infotainment system completely blacked out during a colleague's review. So it's not a shot against the 6 or Mazda for that matter at all. It's just reporting on what my day-to-day life has been. And as mentioned in the previous part of the review, I'm not really using the touch screen. This is me touching the touch screen. I haven't really touched it more than I'd say about 2-3%. And that's only when it's been lagging to start up. I just push a couple of buttons to see if I can force it through. A lot of I guess every other time, almost 100% of the time has been through the HMI commander. So I have no problems with the infotainment. Audio system sounds great. Sunroof up there, you can't see it, but trust me, it's there. Makes a really big difference as opposed to not having it, because I realized that was a weird statement to make. The sunroof opens up the cabin more than you think. Yes, I know the interior is white, so it already has that larger feel to it, as opposed to a dark interior. Dark is a bit of not a claustrophobic color, but it's a color that makes things appear a little smaller. But with the white, it's nice and open. But just that small or regular size sunroof for me makes a world of difference. It's always been, the shade has always been open, and I've had it open as much as possible, whether it's full open or tilt. it's been used as much as possible. Let's say that. That's going to wrap up part 1 of the review on the 2020 Mazda 6. Let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything you want me to try out or test out. I appreciate the support during these uncharted times in the world. I really hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and staying well. Again, thanks for watching. Any questions, let me know, and I'll be back sooner than later. I always find that weird, I'll be back. I will return. No, I'll stick with it. I'll be back sooner than later with my part 2 of the Mazda 6 for 2020.